What is up, Freedom Youth, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Join us as we bridge the gap between campuses, Wednesdays and Sundays, and bridging heaven on earth through strong and biblical conversations. As always, it's your host here, DJ Judy Jude, and I have the one and only Pastor Reverend Bishop Titus. Titus, how you feeling today?
Feeling fantastic. Excited about our guest and what we're going to talk about.
Yes, I am so excited about our guest. I love this person. I've gotten to spend a lot of time over the past couple years with this person, and every Sunday it's a new experience because I get to see him more and more sleep deprived. So it's just so fun to see him and his family interact. It is the one and only Pastor Reverend Rev Dev. That's what I call him. No one else is allowed to call him that. Devin, how are you feeling? Are you excited? Are you ready? Are you nervous? What's going on?
Yeah, man, I think I'm feeling all those feels. I'm excited. I'm nervous. This is going to be fun, though. I cannot wait to get this going.
Pastor Devin, we are excited to have you on the pod. And as always, Freedom Youth, we've got to give some love to Pastor Devin because he is serving faithfully in our Rising Sun campus and numbers have been exploding. God's presence has been moving in amazing ways, and we are just pumped for what is happening. So thank you, Pastor Devin, for jumping on and just helping us understand what's happening in Rising Sun.
Absolutely. I mean, that team is incredible. The youth that show up every week, they're amazing. They are coming hungry. And yeah, guys, we're just so excited to see how God is moving.
Yeah, so Devin, before we jump into the nitty gritty, and before we play the game, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you love to do most?
Well, let's see, guys. I was born and raised in good old Cecil County in Maryland. And yes, Pastor Titus, I do drive a truck, right? I've been married to my amazing wife, Tita. Man, I don't even want to admit how many years it's been, but let's just say it's a big 2-0. And we have three teenagers, Cameron, Kaylin, and Colton. Pretty much love all sports, especially golf. I get to coach high school basketball, lacrosse. I'm a huge Philly sports fan, so go Birds.
Wow. Hold on now. I have some
hmm
insider information that Pastor Devin actually went golfing today. And can you just, I don't want you to drop names, but I do want you to drop names. Can you tell us who won and who did you play against? Say it.
That's Oh man. Let's see. I played against Pastor Joey, Pastor Eric, P Dub, and yeah, I won.
Oh my goodness. He won. He shot a what? 75?
I did shoot a 75. That's correct. Yeah.
I have to
That is
brag on him because
crazy.
anytime we take P-dubs down in the golf course, I mean, that's a win for the youth team. We're just showing them we've been working hard, guys, on all levels, making the youth better.
Yeah. Devin, does that officially make you like the second best golfer in Freedom Church?
The second best golfer? I mean,
I,
I'm not sure where that lands me. I don't know who the best golfer would be.
there's someone that Pastor Wade always says is better than him. I can't remember exactly.
I think
Who it is, but
Penduck.
close.
I think Pastor Penduck.
Oh man, he's a British guy. He's got to be good at golf.
Yeah, sipping his tea, hitting that ball.
I'm
All
not
right,
going to
well,
say
Pastor
anything
Devin.
to that. We're going to stay
Pastor
humble.
Devin, do you? This is a random question. Do you like blueberries or strawberries better in the summer?
I mean, at any time, it's strawberries, man. Strawberries is one of my favorite fruits.
So that means you're biased to the red team at youth camp.
Oh no! See, we talk about
Oh,
bias. I didn't know. How can you go there, man? I
well, the walls in
root
your
for
house
both
are
teams.
red.
Yeah.
The walls in your house are
What's
red,
that?
and you're an Alabama fan. So that's the only
Oh,
other correlation.
Alabama fan too.
I mean, I'm wearing blue in my shirt. My couch is blue.
Nah,
You said
Yeah,
strawberries. You said strawberries.
I
you said
I did say
strawberries. You
strawberries,
heard it
but
here
that's a trick
first.
question. Come on, man.
You get
I
Pastor
love them both
Titus's.
equally. Then
Nope.
Yeah, it sounds like a dad. I love all my kids equally. Wink, wink.
that's right. No favorites.
Mm. Well, Pastor Devin, we've gotten to know you a little bit more, and we always, in youth ministry, we want to have the best time ever. So we're going to jump into our game here. And the game Freedom Youth, this is a new one. It's going to be one of our favorites, I think. This is What Does Thy Choose? So we got a little didgeridoo for you. I'm about to hit this Optimus Prime voice and see what happens.
Come on.
One Bible,
2 events. What will thy choose? What will I choose? So here's how the game's going to work. I'm going to read you 2 events that happen in the Bible. This one's going to be easy because it's coming from the same Bible story. And you're just going to have to choose which one would you want to be a part of. And here's the thing. I want you to take the perspective of you are just a bystander watching it, but you're right there in it. You are right there in it, and you're just watching these people go through it. Are you ready?
Yes.
So we are going to the 10 plagues that Moses sent on the Egyptians. And we're going to start with number 3, which is the gnats and lice. The dust of the earth turned into stinging gnats and afflicted both humans and animals. So that is choice number 1. You're going to sit there. You're just going to see these gnats afflicting them and bothering them and laying them. I just imagine them going up their nose as they're breathing. And we're going to go right to number 4, which is flies. Swarms of flies filled the air, though notably, the region of Ganesh, where the Israelites lived, was spared. They had no flies. Which one would you be a part of? You're an Egyptian in the story. Go.
I mean, I was going to say, if I didn't have to be an Egyptian, obviously it was going to be an Israelite. However, I'd have to go with the gnats and lice because I've already had a fly in my ear when I was younger, and it was terrible. I had to be picked out with tweezers, and dude, it was bad. So I don't want to relive that.
So are you like scared of flies? Is that you admitting that?
I'm not scared of flies. Like, I'm not gonna admit that I'm scared of flies. They gross me out for sure.
I'm dying. Freedom Youth, this was not a setup. I had no idea this man had a fly go in his ear and had to get, I mean, pretty much surgery, but without like a knife, and had it pulled out.
I was in, I think, 2nd or 3rd grade. This was during music class. The thing just flew right into my ear. Terrible experience, guys.
It sounds literally horrible.
It was because I can hear it buzzing in my ear as it's moving.
I had a tick in my belly button once, and that was like,
Ooh.
yeah, my dad had to take a razor knife and cut it out. It was literally the worst. And now belly buttons make me want to throw up. They're gross.
That's foul.
Yeah.
Devin, that's actually like crazy and mind blowing that you had a fly in your ear. But you know what's even more crazy than that? It was our sermon this week at youth group. It was so amazing. We talked about the idols in our pockets, and the main point from the sermon was that we need to put God first. The main verse from that sermon was 1 Corinthians 10:14-15, which says, "Therefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to sensible people. Judge for yourselves what I say." Now, Devin, I'm not going to say you're old, but I'm just going to take a wild shot in the dark and say that you were most likely alive before the telephone was invented. So what was it like on Earth before the Big Bang and before phones existed? What was that life like? Was it good? Was it like not as good? How do you say, Titus?
Man, that's I mean, telephones were definitely invented. However, the cell phone was not. But before you guys came about, man, I mean, life was in black and white. So thank you for bringing everything to color. Like, everything's in color now because of YouTube.
It was such an honor. I mean, I just came into this world and I was like, it's so dark. So I had to do it. I had to bring light.
That's right. You brought light. You did light and color and all things technology because we had none of that before.
That makes my heart happy that I've been able to serve you like that.
So let's ask it this way, a little more tangible question. What is one thing you miss from the simpler times before phones?
Man, I mean, I just remember growing up, just being outside, playing all the time, not really worried too much, just riding bikes everywhere. There was a time I can remember it when you couldn't get a hold of somebody on the landline, with our telephones that were connected to the wall. It didn't matter that it couldn't wait, right? So you're leaving messages that on answering machines. But yeah, it was just a lot simpler. Now, I wasn't super old while that was going on, but I can still remember it.
Now, Freedom Youth, a landline is a phone that has a wire on it that's connected to the wall. I'm dead serious. You needed to hear this. And you had what was called a home phone number, and your friends would only be able to call you then. And I also grew up in that time, but I was right on the end of it. I remember getting rid of it. So I do know what it is, and I lived with it, and my best friend would call me all the time, and if I didn't answer, he'd leave a message, and we had fun with it.
Let me put it in youth terms. Youth, basically what they're saying is, you know, that science experiment where you put the cup to your ear and there was a string, and then the person on the other side would talk to it. That's what it was, but it was between houses, right? And if you wanted to call a girl or a guy that you were interested in, you would call the house phone, and the dad would answer and be like, "Why are you calling my child?" Right? So that is what they went through. We are lucky we don't do that.
That is
Devin,
100%
as
correct.
a as a dad now, this is a really funny question to follow this up. As a dad now, and a parent, you've had three go arounds. How have you helped your kids or seen your kids put Jesus and God over their phones and break the idol of social media and other things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I know as a parent, like my kids are going to follow what I model for them. And this week I was really thinking about that. Like, have I modeled that well? And the message really convicted me about being intentional about not only showing my kid that, but for me living putting God first. Instead of just grabbing my phone and going to games I like to play or doom scrolling, you know. And I would say that Tina and I, we've tried to model for our kids the importance of worship, the importance of prayer, just even conversations with people, but especially serving. We decided that we didn't want to require our kids to serve. We wanted them to have that option, right, of serving, because we just wanted them to serve God out of love for Him and for people. And I'm proud that they've made that choice. And I'd love to get to watch them serve and use their talents that God's given them. But as far as like phones, like I feel like I know that we've like set boundaries and limits on their phones, and it's not because we don't trust them, but we just want to guard their hearts and their minds. We do have open
Yeah,
conversations with them about appropriate uses of their phone.
that's awesome to hear. And for me, for those of you that don't know the Smiths, they are an amazing family. All of them serve almost every week, anytime they're asked. In kids ministry, Colton is currently being trained on the photography team and the production team. They all sit together on the at the 8 a.m. service. Colton has been sitting in the front row with his mom and dad. So Devin, I really just want to applaud you and give you some gratification in this moment that you really have set a wonderful example for all of your kids, and you are even setting examples for other youth that are wanting to join the production team because they are able to see a kid like Colton being able to do that. So thank you so much for just being able to have the comfortability and the confidence in your kids to be able to let them grow like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But that is all to Jesus, man. All to Jesus and my wife Tina. So
Yeah, let's hear it for Pastor Tina crushing it on the woman's side and the mom side. What would we be without our ladies? Not much,
true
that's for
story.
sure.
Yeah.
So we also talked about putting God first as the main point. And how has your life changed since putting God first?
I mean, how hasn't it changed, to be honest? I mean, putting God first, it's just completely been a 180 for me. It Some people it's hard to believe, but before I used to be such jerk, man. I was miserable. I was mean. I never smiled. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I felt like I was a terrible husband, a terrible dad. But like I know that I was afraid of like not being in control. Uh, Pretty much afraid of everything. It was insecurities, right? But I know like God, like giving my life to God and following Him, it's completely softened my heart. Following Him, it's changed. It's changed all of those things that I was dealing with. Right? He's given me direction. He's given me purpose. He's changed the way that I see people, the way I see myself as a child of God. And I know like He's replaced those fears in my life with the peace, the only peace that He can give. Right? And I know that I can trust Him no matter what I'm going through, no matter what the situation is. I know that I can fully trust Him.
Yeah, I love that. I do have a question about removing idols. Was that
Mhm.
something you did by yourself or did it take community?
Oh, bro, it took community. Like removing idols, I don't feel like that's ever something you're doing by yourself. The more you're engaged with groups, the more you're engaged with people like-minded, right? Like they're helping encourage you to do that. So no, that is not by myself. I know that God can change my heart. He can change those things, but I feel like he always uses somebody else. And we talked about Ananias a few weeks ago. Like somebody is going to be your Ananias, and you're going to be somebody else's Ananias.
Freedom Youth, it's going to be difficult to find your Ananias like Devin is talking about, but the best way, and I promise you, this is actually the best way, I'm not just glazing. The best way to find that person is to get involved with your youth group. And maybe it's even getting involved outside of youth, texting that friend that you think could be that person for you. So make sure that you just reach out and really try and find that person because, like Devin said, it really does take a village to break a stronghold down. Devin, what is one idol that you personally had to destroy in order to grow and to be the person and the pastor and the leader and the man that you are today?
Angie, that's a great question. I would say, honestly, one of the biggest idols that I had to destroy, it was me. Because I would always put myself first, right? I would put myself before my family, before God. Um, I was feeding my own desires, the things that would make me happy for a moment or a minute, and then quickly wear off and make me instantly feel guilt and shame. And I felt like I was trapped in like an endless cycle through all of that. I think one of the things that's helped big time for me is remembering Paul's example in Romans 7. And anybody that knows about Paul, that here's a man that God used to write a lot of the New Testament, but he admitted that he also struggled with his sin nature. And he said that he knew what was right, he knew what he should do, but he would inevitably do the wrong things. And then he said, like, who will free me from the sin of my life that lives inside of me, right? And he said the only answer to that is Jesus. And Jesus is the only one that has the power to free us from that sin, right? That the idols that are in our lives.
Yeah, Freedom Youth. If you didn't get a chance to listen to the last episode, make sure you go listen to it because we talked about the difference between conviction and condemnation. And Paul and Devin are both talking about the same thing, which is crazy because it's 2,000 years later, but they were feeling the same emotions. Paul is talking about he knows that he shouldn't do something, but he does it anyway, and that's the Holy Spirit guiding him and correcting him. So, youth, I want to encourage you when you feel that feeling of I shouldn't be doing this, don't hide it, don't feel shame for it. It is normal. Everybody struggles in some way, whatever way it is. You should not be ashamed. Feel free to open up this week a youth group and really lean into it because that feeling is what will lead you to breaking that stronghold like Devin's talking about. It will ultimately open the doors and the conversations that will truly set you free.
Yeah, Jude, I fully agree with that. And that's a choice you have to make every day. And trust me, like it's not like I don't feel like making that choice every day, but I know that my feelings are what's going to get me into trouble, right? Like those are what's going to get me in trouble. But when I change and like I focus on, I don't want to feed my desire. I don't want to feed my will, but I want God's will in my life, right? And aligning my will with His.
Yeah, it's so good. It really is dying to ourselves, right? And to
Right.
live like Christ, to die for Christ is gain. And it's a hard concept to understand, Freedom Youth, but man, the sooner you can learn that and understand that you were bought with a price and to live for Christ is to lay down your own life and understanding that, man, I'm here to serve others. It's not about me anymore. Once I have salvation and I know I'm going to heaven, now it's how many people can I bring with me? And little drop in the bucket there. That's what we're talking about at Youth Night. So if you don't know, May 27th, you can come to Youth Night, bring your friends. We are going to have an amazing, amazing night of fun, worship, and of course, some God moments. And we're calling some people up and out into their calling and what God has for your life. Two more things I want to mention. Number one is drop a comment below Freedom Youth with some questions that you have that you would like to hear us answer. In the next episode, we're going to make sure that we answer one of your questions from a youth, and we will name you and you will get the credit for that question. So please drop it wherever you are listening. And then the other one is at the end of this message, we handed out some bookmarks. And if you weren't there, make sure to ask one of your youth directors. We'd love to get you a bookmark. And it's called Your First 5 Challenge. And it's about giving up your first 5 minutes of each day. We want you to read, pray, and journal using these scriptures. And so below is 7 different scriptures that we intentionally place for the next 7 days. So we're giving up 5 minutes before we touch our phone, the idol that our heart leaps towards, or maybe social media or like approval or who's reaching out to us. We want you to pick this up instead and pick up your Bible, and that bookmark is marking, man, this is where I'm going to jump in. So if you don't know where to read, it guides you right there. It's all on the bookmark. Again, we handed them out, and if you couldn't make it to that youth group specifically because of sports or graduation or whatever it looks like, please talk to a youth director. We'd love to get you one and join us for the first 5 challenge. Moving on to our next part, which is one of my favorites, which is the quote of the day: keeps the devil away. This one, Pastor Devin, comes from Pope Francis. So the old popity Pope. And he says, the technology we are creating can be a means of coming together or a means of separation. How do we make sure technology does not separate us, but that we use it to bring us closer together?
And that's a great question. I mean, technology was designed to be a tool, right? And I think it's dangerous, like if we allow it to replace connection instead of supporting it. So if it's a tool, we can use it as a support, but not to replace that. So I think we have to be intentional about putting it down, like putting down our phones, and then also building our relationship with Jesus and with people around us, right? We talk about community, we talk about groups, like it's important to do that. I would say reading our physical Bibles, going for a walk, praying. Man, what would it look like if we actually sat down and had dinner with our families and no one pulled out their phones? And how awesome would it be, I think, as youth, to set an example for not only families, but for our churches. One of the things I love to see in Rising Sun is the youth that are out and connecting in the lobby. Like that is such a cool experience to see. See them when they're engaged in conversations. And man, I would just encourage our Freedom Youth to go above that, and let's get involved in serving, and just an incredible way to connect not only with God but with people.
Yeah, I love that. Technology 100% is a tool. One of the ways I love to think of it is, like you said, it's not to replace, but it's to re-engage. So maybe you have a friend who hasn't been to youth group in a while. Maybe you have a cousin or a brother or, some people. And so we use it to bring people back to the gospel, but we don't use it as a replacement. I'm not just sending a Bible verse every day and being like, hey, you're good, you got it, go run with it. But I'm using it intentionally. I love to say that we grow at the rate of invitation. And so technology for us specifically in youth group, I mean, it's become one of our greatest tools for invitation, whether that's social media and posting, hey, we got youth group tonight, whether that's sending out text messages, whether that's your group leader reaching out to you, right? It's like, we want to be really, really intentional at using it as a tool, but not using it as, we're not FaceTiming you for youth group. We did that in 2020. Oh man, that was hard. That was tough. God still honored it and used it, and his presence still moved. But man, there is nothing like being in person.
Yeah, it's such an important decision just to be able to come and find your community and find your group at youth group. And you can even do that on a Sunday if you're serving, like Titus said. So if you haven't done this before, we'll put the link on the Instagram if it's not already there, and we'll put it in the description of this episode. But go to www.myfreedom.org/next and fill out the growth track form. Fill out step 1. You'll get an email, and that'll move you through the process so that even if you just want to serve at youth, or if you want to serve on a Sunday, no matter what, we'll have someone reach out to you, and you will be serving in no time, and you'll be able to live out the calling that God has placed on your life. Thank you so much, Pastor Devin, for taking some time to be able to talk with us. We are so excited about this episode. I can just tell it's going to be able to reach so many people. Devin, thank you so much for taking the time and the wisdom and the energy just to come and spend a few minutes talking with us. We are so grateful for not only this, but everything you've been doing in youth ministry, and we cannot wait to see everything that's going to come because of your leadership and your family sacrifices. We love you. We are so grateful for all of your time. Freedom Youth, let's bow our heads, obviously, unless we're behind the wheel of a car, and let's pray. Jesus, I thank you so much for the wisdom that was shared tonight. I ask that you would let us hang heavy on all of our hearts. I ask that you would let 1 Corinthians 10:14-15 sink in our minds, and let us know that you want us to put you first. I pray that we will each take one bold step this week, just doing the 5 goals, and let us all have a great and wonderful week. And let us all listen to episode 5 coming out soon. In Jesus' name, amen. Freedom Youth, thank you so much for joining us as we bridge the gap. Thank you for coming together as we bridge the gap between campuses, Wednesdays and Sundays, and heaven on earth for strong and biblical conversations. I hope you all have an amazing, wonderful week. Thank you once again for taking the time to join us. Have a good one.